suggests that only 17% of borrowers go back to the same lender.
What's called the berry button, the red button that I hit.
Hey, remember that?
Right?
And, you know, oh yeah, I love
Everybody, welcome back. And this is actually a real welcome back to these three guys on the squares that we're seeing right now because, well, I know Joe hates this word when I use it, but I'm going to use it, Joe. I'm sorry. These are amazing people on this call right now, on this podcast today. And the reason that they're amazing is not because of who they are individually, but because they're amazing friends, because we had a technical difficulty last time. And what happened is we didn't get the recording done right. Something happened. We're not sure what happened. StreamYard said it never happens before to them. We're the first person that they experienced this.
Yeah, of course.
Right, StreamYard. Thank you, StreamYard, for your support. But these amazing friends took time out of their lives again to come back for a second edition of the social media panel. And I'm grateful for them because it does take a lot of energy to talk for an hour or 50 minutes, as Delilah's pointed out to us. It's because she has things to do, other people that are actually going to pay her to go for her time. Just some amazing friends.
You're absolutely right, Bobby.
I know. Trust me. I know you, girl. Trust me. One thing I know is I know you. I know what motivates. I got it. Don't worry. So listen, I want to kick this thing off because look, we got Delilah Ramos of Taco Tuesday. We got Joe Wilson of Social Coach. We got Raquel Boris of New America and herself and the San Diego and Koala Bears and all that other stuff. I don't know what the hell, whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever rocks boats is always what works for me. So I'm good with that. But I want to kick this off with something really interesting because, Joe, you were on our friend Josh's show, Shred, the other week or whatever.
Yesterday,
dude.
I
know he's on there.
It's a weekly thing. I'm always on that show.
You guys gotta pay attention to your friends, man. I know his thing. He's on there every week. He does his collaboration with Josh.
Anyway, social, man. It's a big deal.
Thank you. See, at least I'm paying attention, Joe. You talked about meeting people on social media, and Rock was just talking about it before the show started. Meeting people on and actually never physically meeting them. So, for the record, Joe and I have never been in the same oxygen space together.
What?
Exactly. And the friendship that we've struck up all happened through social media, through Zoom calls, through being on a podcast together.
No, I have met all of y'all. Like
me too.
I mean, Joe, I danced and party. We danced and jumped at a concert to Pitbull. Mel and I have had boyfriend drama. I had to sleep over her house.
I've spent a birthday with her. I've got to celebrate birthday.
But the point being, but don't go to Bobby and I. This will stop right there. We don't have that much time. but the point being is social media is for being social.
Yeah.
Right? Meeting people to increase your social network. It's not just for putting on funny memes or asking for business. It's actually trying to increase your network, Joe. Am I right about this? Or, I mean, walk me through this.
Memes, as you know, are very important to me. And I think that's kind of how we kicked off our friendship, to be honest with you, because like, look, this guy can meme, so obviously we could be buddies. Like that's like kind of
that's your criteria.
That's the criteria. If you can send me a meme, we're gonna be buds.
Wait,
but like honestly though,
you're
like,
gonna
it's
get
like,
so many memes now, Joe.
Please do. Like that's free range. Anybody has any memes, just send them my way. I love them. I'll repost them.
This guy can meme. I've never heard of that.
That's a
hey, you know, it's a thing. But like, here's the deal: it's like each of us have had, and I'm sure many of you who are listening to this right now too have had the same experience. You've kicked off a relationship either in person and it translated to an online relationship, or online transition to a personal relationship, like in person. In both ways are totally normal. I think, like, I don't even know, maybe you guys know the statistic now, but like what percentage of relationships now start online? Like of like, you know, like a boyfriend, girlfriend, or like just like a, you know, like a whatever it is, right? I have no idea what that is, but I know like when I was first coming out of college, like if you met somebody online, like that was super weird, right?
Yeah,
like that was not something that you're like, oh geez,
Right?
there's something wrong with you because you obviously met, like you couldn't meet people in real life. So you had to turn to the internet like, wow, that's awful. But today it's like almost the inverse. It's like, wow, you couldn't pick anybody up on Tinder. So you had to go to like a real place to meet people. That's awful. Like
I want to go ask my wife permission if I can experiment and get you some numbers.
No, you don't want to do that. I don't think that sounds like
I mean, Joe Wilson wants me to find out how many people are available for me on Tinder.
Don't pin this on me. I don't want your wife to be mad at me.
I'm taking one for the team. Trust me. So Delilah, have you met people on social that you haven't met in person, but you have this amazing relationship with them? And I mean,
yeah, I eventually meet them.
I look you made on your face.
People that know her online haven't met her in person. We'd be like, dang.
Well,
I thought I was that person.
I know the first time I met you, Delilah, you like literally walked across. It was Orlando, Florida, 2018. Never forget it. Namba. First time I was at a Namba event, and you like literally saw me, and you walked across this huge hall, and you gave me this amazing hug. And we'd only talked on the telephone or maybe other things like that for like a year, I guess. But I mean, is telephone the same thing as social media or no?
For me, because my communication, like I'm a communicator. I'm old school. I'm the last generation that absorbs information differently, right? I still love the phone call. Raquel and I think we pick up the phone and call before we text.
Or we'll text and then right away, like, no, we're available on the phone. Yeah.
Yeah. Her and I still talk a lot. And I don't know if it's a cultural thing too, you know, like that plays a huge part. But I still like conversation. Like I still need to hear your voice. I can't get some of that via text.
Okay. So Rock, I know you and like Michael Ray, right? You guys had never met in person. I mean, we have now. But I know you've actually like posted a bunch of people you've actually met in person for the first time after connecting with them on some kind of social media platform.
Yes.
So it seems more normal to you than the rest of us three.
I guess. I don't know. There's so many people that I've met online, but I tend to be really fortunate to be able to meet them in person pretty soon after. Yeah. So I love it. And just like Delilah was said, so I do a lot of voice and video messages to people. Like on LinkedIn, I'm like infamous for my voice notes. Like I do a lot of intros. I think Joe's been on this receiving end where I do like an intro and I do it with a voice note, or I'll send like a video. I just think that there's something about like your mannerisms when you're speaking, or your inflection, or the sound of your voice, where it takes a step further than with text. So yeah, I'm very old school like that.
So hold on. So let me I'm connecting dots here, guys. So you're taking, let's say, since we all agree on LinkedIn, I think that's a platform that we all can agree on, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying you're going on LinkedIn, you're creating networks, you're connecting with people, but then you're going to take that one extra step and pick up the phone, call them, or leave a voice message on LinkedIn, or like a voice. I don't even know what that's. I've never done this before.
Yeah, like a little microphone. I just did it yesterday.
So personally, I hate that. I'm not gonna lie. Like anytime, Raquel, you send me a voice text, I don't even listen to it. I won't listen. Don't send me those things.
Oh wow!
I'm just teasing. I mean, only kind of actually. I do hate them.
Joking.
Well, it's not that I don't hate you. It's just there's something about like just for me, right? Like and I'm sure there are other people out there like that.
There are.
I can't I need like a lot of times we're multitasking all day, right? You're like in meetings and like I need to read stuff if I'm gonna be able to respond, like because like the conversation's getting boring with Fabi. I gotta distract myself over here, and like if I can't listen to it, it just drops in the queue, right? But that's just me. But that's just me.
But everybody has their different forms of communication. So
that's true.
No, thank you.
But what I like about it though, Raquel, is that you do go multi-format, and that's what I think is really important. Like for any type of communication. And I think this is why those online relationships can turn into personal relationships, because you like this is sales 101, right? And sales and social, like they kind of go in like hand in hand, I think.
Right.
But it's like you as an individual, if you want to have a relationship with somebody, you have to adapt to their communication style, to their needs in order to like take that next step in whatever relationship that is. So if somebody hates those texts, those audio texts, don't do it, right? If somebody, but that works really well with other people, right? And it's the same thing. Like, I mean, let's even take it a step further into the mortgage business. Like taking a loan application. There are types of borrowers that want to come into your office and meet with you and do the handwritten 1003. Right. There are others that don't ever want to talk to you, that want that fully automated, online point of sale platform, right? And then there's people who hybrid. It's the same thing. And like that's what's cool about developing those relationships online is the ability to adapt and change, go to those different formats that make sense at the time. But if you're not putting yourself out there, if you're not being willing to take that next step, it's never going to happen. And just like with literally anything in life too, like if you want something to happen, you got to go and do it yourself. Don't wait for Delilah to send you an invite to go have tacos on Tuesday. You got to ask her. And now you got to pay for it too. Yeah. You gotta make it happen. Right. I want to have tacos.
She's got a job now. She can pay.
No, but you get what I'm saying though, right? I mean, it's like, that's like this, it's nothing new. It's just adapting your, and I think we're still new on a sense of like developing relationships professionally that can like move whatever your business opportunities are, but also create real relationships at the same time.
But let me ask you a question. I mean, with social media, I mean, because look, there are what? I mean, and guys, correct me on this. I mean, you got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, right? Those are your Twitter, which I don't really consider one, right? That's more like a reporting of I'm having tacos with Delilah, kind of like. There's nothing, I mean, who cares, right? But like there used to be like Vines, there used to be Periscope, there used to be Clubhouse, right? They all seem to have kind of faded, and these last couple of ones are standing. So when we say multi-platforms, I mean, which platform professionally, I guess LinkedIn is the one that I see all four of us really using, right?
Yeah, LinkedIn.
But Instagram seems to be making a push into the business arena. Is that accurate, or is what? Delilah, you shaking your, yeah? What do you think?
Yeah, they do, because they see the power. Right now, Facebook still dominates. Right? It does. And so my biggest platform is LinkedIn, and then followed by Facebook. Okay. And so, but IG is like right behind it, and they're owned they're owned by Facebook. So that's why now
Meta.
Yeah, Meta. Yeah. And so now they're being pushed now. Like it's being pushed by.
So how do you know that you're getting bigger engagement? I mean, do you follow this? I mean, like to me, like metrics are huge, right? I don't know, and I've said this before, like does engagement actually equal dollars? Right? No one can really answer that question as well as I'd like them to answer, right?
Well,
it's always kind of like, yeah, maybe it should. So, I mean, what does engagement mean to you, Delilah?
So engagement means to me, whether you comment, whether you're like, but I'm also finding out that people engage and just don't tell you they engage. Oh. And I know this has recently been confirmed, because people I've never met, or maybe I've met briefly, they buy me things. Now I have, hold
on, they buy you things?
Yeah, like I had the EVP of UWM, reach out to me. Hey, he was like, hey, I bought you something. Can I ship it to you?
Wow.
Everybody
else get that?
I do. I've gotten wine. I've gotten flowers. I've gotten gift baskets.
Nobody's sending me anything.
Tumblers, mugs.
I'm gonna send you something, Joe. I'm gonna
send something to Joe. But to me, that is a confirmation that someone at that executive level, even, right, Fabi, that they're engaging with me on a social media platform. They may not like, they may not comment, but obviously they know who I am, and they do engage with me on a weekly basis enough to buy.
Let me say something about that.
Hang on. I want to jump real quick to Raquel, because Raquel, does engagement mean dollars though? I mean, okay, they're sending me flowers.
No, not to me. No, for me personally, you know me, I'm super transparent
Absolutely.
and very honest. And this was something that I shared on LinkedIn last year during COVID because everyone's like, oh my gosh, you're killing it. You must be making so much money. I was like, I'm making zero. I'm like, just because I have all this engagement and all this visibility and I have this presence and people are, you know, sending me stuff and commenting does not translate in dollars. But that was my fault. Like, I am very also willing to admit that I never had a, like, you know, Joe knows this. Remember, we were talking about call to action. I never had a call to action. And so that is my fault. That is on me for not doing the ask, right? Like Delilah.
The 3 C's of social media.
Yeah. Delilah's actually asking. She's like, listen, you want to be on my Taco Tuesday and you want to have like this amount of viewership on my network, on my, you know, platform, like, then you're going to have to pay me for it. Like, this is my time and I'm showcasing you. I know the value that I'm adding to you by having you be on my show. I wasn't doing that. So for me, it was a big learning lesson because once again, everyone wants to believe that like, oh, you're an influencer. That doesn't mean crap. Sorry.
Well, what is it?
Like, if you're not getting money.
I know you had a thought on this, but I want to preempt that thought a little bit and just ask you one thing. She used a key word here, influencer.
Yeah.
Right? You're the owner of Social Coach. You came up with Social Coach, right? Which is basically what, so people don't know what Social Coach is. FYI, get it. You'll figure it out because it's one of the greatest little. And you know me, man. I plug your stuff whether you're on the show with me or not. I'm always plugging. I love your platform, dude. I think it's one of the smartest things because it does one of the 3 C's that I talk about. It gets people doing consistent posting, consistent. Yeah. How does that get to that influencer status that Raquel just talked about? I mean, influencer is a big name in our social media world, right?
Yeah, and it's a misnomer.
I
think,
know.
In a lot of senses, like, you know, but it's funny. I mean, everyone, you know, I think that's what a lot of people come in thinking that they want is to be an influencer. But what they really, if you like pull back the layers of the onion, what people want is business. You know, they want to like succeed. They want to be successful and they want to be able to, I mean, I guess people have different reasons for being, you know, out there on social, right? But I think, you know, in the context of our business and, you know, all being kind of in the mortgage industry here, like, let's be honest here. The purpose that most people in our industry are on here is to get more referrals from the referral sources, whether that's realtors, builders, financial planners, you name it, right? Or direct consumers. Like, so to be an influencer means I'm getting that attention that I want and I'm getting actual activity from that influence or that engagement, right? So you talked about engagement. And I'll tell you from like very personal experiences, and then I'll talk about it from a standpoint of like our clients and like loan officers. And it's actually the same thing. So I'll lump them together and make it quicker. Is some of the lowest engaging posts have the highest activity of like actual leads and referrals, right?
I've heard that from other people too.
Yeah.
It's true, and I have the data to confirm it.
Wow.
Like it is so like it does not matter. The biggest thing is what you mentioned, Fabi, is being consistent. And here's the feedback I hear all the time from loan officers who use Social Coach to remain consistent on social media. This is not a pitch. This is just like, I mean, maybe it is a little bit, but
shameless plug coming in. Shameless plug.
But the real deal is this: if you show up regularly on social media, people are going to notice who you are, whether they're engaging or not. And let's be totally honest with each other. Mortgage content, if you're talking about it, is not the most exciting piece of content.
Yeah.
People don't want to engage. Oh, what's the rate update this week? Like, nobody cares. But they do care, and they see you. And it's the same thing with anything, because it's the same that happens with me. I put posts out there, and like I get people responding to me like on a DM on LinkedIn, say, hey, I just saw your recent post. I see you. This the magic phrase. I see you everywhere. I want to learn more. Mm-hmm. That's the same that happens to me with people on LinkedIn. That's what happens to our loan officers who use this platform. They're saying like, look, I'm not getting good engagement on my posts, but what I can tell you is that I got 3 new leads from 3 different realtors that I was connected to, but have never given me business before. That also the same thing. I see you everywhere. I want to give you a shot. So that perception of being an influencer, whether you have 100 followers or 10,000 plus followers, is the same. If you're consistently showing up with a good message that resonates with the person, then when they're ready to take action, they will reach out to you.
So Delilah, how do you take that social media personality and bring it out. Because let's face it, guys, there's one thing that I do know, right? And it's really all four of us, right? And it's anybody who's that I've come to know. We're not the same people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like this thing we do for 60 minutes or 50 minutes is like, that's fine, right? But like if somebody follows me around, they're going to say, this is the most boring person on the planet. Because like at 9:15,
I don't know, Bobby. Speak to yourself. I feel like I'm never boring.
I'm talking about me. I'm just talking about me. I'm like the most boring person, like outside of
I
social
got tie-dye pants
I know
on.
you're too exciting for me. Trust me, I get it. Lila, how do you take that social media personality and bring it out in the real world and then get that CTA call to action that you're talking about?
Because I don't. It's really who I am. I don't need to bring anybody out. It's actually truly like my God-given talent, who I am. The person you get today is the person you're going to get tomorrow and Lord willing next week. It's just, that's why the consistency part is absolutely number one. And then if you are fake about it, you can't keep up with the consistency.
Can't keep being fake, right? You gotta be. And people say it all the time. You gotta be your authentic self, and it's true. You have to be you.
I hate that word, though, guys.
I know there's so many words that are starting to now like sound so like
it is,
right? Because if you have to say you're authentic, man, are you really authentic? Like you should have to say you're authentic.
Just be you.
Yes.
Yeah, and like don't say, like, I'm the type of person where I say, like, you know how there's a lot of people online, there's people like Joe with his business that give the actual tips, right? Like they're actually giving you actionable steps. I'm different. I just lead by example. Like I'm not telling you to show up as who you are. I'm doing it by, guess what? I haven't showered. I'm going to be honest. I like slept in this. I haven't no makeup on. I threw on a ball cap. You know what I mean? But I wasn't not going to show up. Listen, I'm keeping it real in the sense of like, instead of canceling this or like putting on makeup because I feel like I have to, I'm like, I'm just showing up the way I am. And so I am leading by example. So that when people see this, it's not me telling you to do it. Like if I'm just going to show, then they're going to be like, oh, wow, she like literally just showed up like looking like that. Okay, then maybe it gives me permission to do the same.
So Raquel, coming to you real quick on this, because the other part of my see is that the community part. You know, you got consistency, but then you have community, and you seem to have found a community on social media. You know what I mean? So it's like your tribe, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's a key word in social media word, right? So how did you find your community, or did they find you?
It was a mutual. So I am very quick to reach out to people too. Like, you know, as much as I have people reaching out to me, I am just as much of like a fan of other people and look at other people and, you know, maybe potential mentors or people that I just know are like, wow, I know they're going to help my personal and business growth. Like, cause they're like at that level. So I make it a point to reach out as well. So I'm building the community. Like I truly am. Like, it's like, all right, who do I want to surround myself with? And for the longest time, I felt like I didn't have control of that. Like I just kind of allowed anybody into my space. And now I'm like, no, it's very protected. My energy is now protected. So like people like yourselves, like, you know, this is my, like, you guys are part of that circle, right? And you guys are all freaking amazing human beings. Like I'm so proud to be able to like say, these are my friends, right? Like I want to be proud of who I hang out with. And so for me, I really work at it. Like I tell people, I'm very intentional. Like I'm just not out there just to be out there. I'm out there to create actual relationships. Like the people that I've built relationships with are like amazing. And I'm proud of that because I work at it. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that's another thing with social media. It's so that you can find your tribe, right? But you got to show up the way you are so that you're attracting those people. I'm obviously attracting other women, just like Delilah is, that we're kind of like, keep it real, you know, that are super transparent. Like that's who I want to surround myself with too. So if you're going to just be yourself, guess what? Like you're going to attract the people that can resonate with that and that energy. And so that's how I've like created it. And I'm like really, really proud of it.
Nice. Joe, I mean, your community seems to be, from what I've seen on social media, right? You got your kids.
Right? A lot of them.
you got your swimming pool. You got like an occasional shark that you're swimming with. It sounds like a bunch of
sunsets. I am a big sunset guy. I'm the weird sunset guy.
I appreciate it, Joe. I appreciate those posts.
It sounds like a bunch of mortgage professionals. I mean, sharks and kids. You know what I mean?
Hence, Baby Shark is super popular.
Right. I mean, so how did you like? I mean, all kidding aside, I mean, you got a beautiful family, and you know me, I always comment on your stuff with that stuff, right? But I mean, how did you find your community? I mean, or did you build it like Raquel was talking about?
Yeah, so I have a buddy, and you guys probably know him. His name's Connor Murnane. So Connor works for Zillow, and he's a really great dude on the internet. He's really big on Instagram. And actually, that was another relationship started online that we get together and and everything, because he doesn't live too far away from me. Anyway, Connor says this, and I love this. I've stolen it a bunch of times, but he says your vibe attracts your tribe. And it's like who I don't know, Delilah, write that down. Yeah. But it's true, right? And it's like who you are is who you want to surround yourself with, and who you end up surrounding yourself with, right? Birds of a feather flock together. There's all these different phrases that we all know that are true. And it's really, I mean, it's partially intentional, like who you want to invite in, but it's also just what happens naturally over time, right? If you are showing up and you are putting the effort into creating good content or being intentional with creating additional relationships, and other people do the same. And so it's accepting people when they're asking you to be friendly or connected, and then reaching out to other people as well. And it's that reciprocation, though, I think is really important. Yeah. You can't just show up to social media or show up to a meeting, whatever it is. You can't just show up and not give any reciprocation to anybody else, right? Yeah. You also must engage in other people's content. You also must reach out to other people. You must also provide value and want to engage. The absence of that is that fakeness that we're talking about earlier. If you're just showing up and you're like, I'm an influencer now and I want to do all these things, it's not going to work, right? And there are many, many examples of people who are self-professed influencers that do just that. They're like, I'm going to come out and be the expert in this, and I'm going to buy followers, and I'm going to look really awesome. I'm going to have all this expensive clothing, whatever. And it's just hollow. And you can see it with their engagement scores, right? Yeah. But you have to be real, and you have to show all sides of you to be able to do it. And I think this is one of the things why I share so much about the bike rides that we do, or my family events or things like that, because every time I do that, Fabi comments on it, and it makes me feel good when I jokes aside, when you put yourself out there, you give people the opportunity to connect with you in different ways. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And you have different things that can start a conversation. And that's why I put myself out there so often, is because it helps me with both my in-person relationships I have in my local community. They're like, oh, Joe, I saw you were just at this restaurant. What'd you think? Right. And that's a touch point to be able to talk and develop a strong relationship. But it's the same thing with people across the country. It's wow, that's really cool. Or let's talk more about this. So the more you put yourself out there, the more you're sharing different types of things, allows you to engage with different types of people to increase your group of people that you connect with.
Delilah, something that I know about you, right? And I'm sure Joe and Raquel probably know about it also, but you like to give. I've noticed that you give your time, you give a lot. And whether you know it or not, we all see it. Absolutely. Now, do you find that being able to carry that? Well, anybody listening to this podcast doesn't see what's going on with Delilah right now, but she's blushing. So do you find that, you're able to give on social media? Because, you're really you're Taco Tuesday, right? So if I see you on a Thursday, I get confused. Is today Tuesday? What's going on here? What is she doing here on a Thursday? She's supposed to be on Tuesday only, right?
Yeah. She's taking over every day of the week.
Yeah, now all of a sudden it's I don't know what rhymes with Taco Thursday. I guess it could go right. I don't know. But how do you give that personality of giving, and you bring it to the social media platform? Because that is you.
Wow. Thank you first and foremost. You guys, it's my faith, number one, right? My faith. I love Jesus. And number two, because I know it's an obligation. It's an obligation. I have a responsibility and an obligation. The mortgage industry has provided so much for me the last 21 years. Where I'm at in my life currently, I have multiple properties. I'm currently my own I have my own company. I do taco videos for a living, you guys. Am I not blessed or what?
Now, what if you open up your own taco place? I was thinking about that the other day when I said, she opened up her own taco joint, she'd blow up.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
And you called it Taco Tuesday, and you only open on Tuesdays.
Yes, only on Tuesdays.
Yeah, that would bring crowds. That would definitely like exclusivity there. Like that's
maybe you have some investors here. I don't know.
That would be amazing. But I'm bad because I really do love tacos that much.
What's your favorite kind of taco? I've never asked you this before. What is your favorite taco? I mean, you're like the taco connoisseur here.
I love I don't. They're favorites, right? But my go-tos, of course, my carne asada. I love my birria tacos. I really like my Lanta, the birria tacos. They're fire, bro. And there's now fried avocado tacos are really good.
Could we do like Tandoori Tuesdays? Is that possible? I could do Tandoori Tuesday videos, couldn't I, guys?
No,
totally.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Just stick to the podcast, funny man.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But can I just, so you had said how generous Delilah is. So I want to give like a little bit of insight to like her generosity behind the scenes, right? Because there's always something to be said about, or like I'll get, asked a lot of times with people that I know, are they really like that behind the scenes, right? Like Michael Ray, is he really that great? Is he really that kind? Yes. And I get that all the time. And there's other people that you see them online a certain way, and then you meet them in person. You're like, yeah, you're definitely like an online persona. So Delilah, when I went out on my own a couple years ago, and I was struggling, and I was also very open about that. Can I tell you how many times she said, Raquel, if you need me to help you financially, I am in a position to do that. I want to help. She did that. And to me, that was like everything, right? I didn't take up on her on her offer, but the fact that she like was willing to help me out. And she would say, I'm in a position that I could do that. So let me help you. Awesome. So I just wanted to let people know, like, she's the real deal. You guys all are all the real deal, but like, I just wanted to add to her generosity.
No, and I don't want to minimize that by saying anything goofy like my normal self would right now. But I mean, I love Delilah. I love all you guys, right? Delilah and I probably were the closest, out of all three of you guys right now. Unfortunately, that's because I've never met Joe, so I have no idea.
Okay, I'm really competitive, so I'm going to make that work.
Brought it up on social media last couple weeks ago. I did have a dream about Joe.
You did.
Oh, you want to tell the story? I mean,
no, you do it. You do it. I like this one. This is a good story.
Oh, good. We can share it. Okay,
so I was binge watching Tehran on Apple TV. And anyone who's not watched Tehran on Apple TV, go watch it. It's amazing, right? So I'm binge watching it, right? And then I had this dream, I think, because Joe, you posted a picture of you and your kids in church or something. I don't know what it was, right? Maybe it was Easter Sunday. I don't know what. So I have this dream that Joe's like a missionary in Iran, and he's been locked up in prison, and I got to go save him, right?
Oh, you're a savior.
So I'm like texting Joe the next day, right? Because I like always write down my dreams, so I remember them and all that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm texting Joe. I'm like, how you doing? Everything okay? You're not going to Iran, are you? I'm like, can I call you, Joe? Because this is too weird to text.
Don't send him a voice note.
Yeah, I'm not sending him a voicemail. I know you don't like that. But then I told him, and he's like, whoa, what happened? I said, I don't know. It's Ramadan. I've been fasting. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on. Don't do missionary work in Iran, please. So he got this deal where he won't do that down there. But
I won't go to Iran.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. I've never met this individual in my entire life, right?
And he's infiltrating your dreams.
To that point. And I think that speaks volumes, because I had Coach Kyle Draper on a few weeks ago.
Oh,
and
I love
Kyle said something that was so interesting. I never really connected the dots until he said it. He said that brain does not recognize the difference between real life and videos. So when we see each other on video, we think we're all together. The brain's actually thinking we're together right now.
Oh, yeah, right? Okay.
And that's why videos are so powerful. Like the question was, Kyle, like when I go to the Reels or TikTok, why is it that I know the next 30 minutes of my life are gone because I'm just going to keep watching these videos, right? Like some old lady dancing with her poodle or some crap, right? And the brain doesn't recognize that the lady's not in my office dancing with her poodle. It just goes
interesting. I didn't even think about that. Maybe that's why people feel like they know you with when you're on video all the time. Right. And when they see you in person, like, I feel like I know who you are. I guess that's
you hate the actor on a TV show or whatever, right? Like Joffrey from whatever Games of Thrones, when he died, we're all like, yes, thank God he's finally dead. Right?
Yeah. No, I noticed that when I watch like shows now, and I actually am very aware of that. I'm like, why am I so invested emotionally in this scene when I know it's like literally actors and there's people filming it, but psychologically it's like your brain cannot like differentiate it, because sometimes I'm like, Raquel, like, settle down, like, why are you getting anxiety over like what's happening on the screen right now?
Exactly. So Kyle cleared that up for me finally. It was like,
awesome.
Made so much sense. And that's why video, by the way, which I want to kind of segue into, is critical on social media, right? Because I mean, we're seeing more and more and more. I mean, I don't know the percentage, Joe. You seem to have numbers up the yin yang here. You know what I mean? Like
the numbers.
I know memes are funny, and I do one every Friday. I got one coming out tomorrow morning. But videos seem to be really it. Right, guys? I mean, so I mean, Joe, I mean, what numbers can you let us know about videos versus just still photography or whatever?
I mean, well, they have 30+% more engagement than a still post, right? But what's crazy is that like the reach that you can get with video, and particularly on Instagram today, like if you go through and you put out reels, the engagement that you can get on there is absurd, right? Like just it's out of this world. Like you would not even believe the percentage of like that you can get reach on there, right? And it's like, so if you go on to Instagram, and by the way, if you don't have an Instagram professional account, you switch that like today. Like go to your settings, switch to professional account. You get so much more insight, analytics about what's going on there. Like if you're not doing that, you're not serious about your business, go do that today. And if you need help with that, send me a message. I will literally walk you through it. It's really simple. Nice. But it doesn't do anything. It doesn't cost anything. Just do it. But like, it's insane. You can reach tens of thousands of people that you never would have reached before with a dad joke or a meme or something silly that happens. Like if the algorithm, if the very first few people that view your video like it and like actually like it, it's going to go out of this world, right? But like that's kind of on the side. I think the big thing why video really resonates with people is they can see you, and like Raquel was talking about earlier, your mannerisms, the way that you say things, the way that you connect is very important. And if you're just doing that in a post, like you're not, that whole self of you is not coming through, right? You're not going to be able to like look somebody in the eyes and say, hey, this is how I feel about X, or this is why this is important for you and your family. And without those additional like context clues, your brain doesn't really know how to do that, right? We're just talking about that whole thing with, you know, it seems like reality for you. And our brains, and us as humans, we want those personal connections. We want to feel included, want to feel a part of something. And that's what video allows you to do, that you can't have in a text or a still image post.
So Delilah,
and the energy. I was just going to say, I'm really big into energy and people's energy. And and I'm not saying this to sound all, but I know I have good energy. Like I feel it. Like I know I am that person. So for me, like I love video because I feel like I'm feeding people that energy of mine, like that, you know what I mean? And I get that all the time. Like I love your energy. And so for me, it's almost like my gift to people, because if I write something out, it just doesn't come off the same as me literally speaking to the camera. And I know that that is a superpower of mine. So when you recognize like what you're good at and your strengths and what people connect with, like take advantage of that, you know, put more of that out there, right? Like, so it's recognizing some people are really good at writing. Like there's some people on LinkedIn that I follow that never do video, but the way that they write is so smart and so witty. And it literally is like an entire post. I will read the entire freaking thing because the way that they like connect with you in their words, there's something to be said about that too, right? So they know that they have power in their words, in their text. I have power in the visual part of it. So it's recognizing what you're good at as well.
Well, I think that's an important message too, is like, not like you don't have to do video, and you don't have to have like a super upbeat, bubbly personality to like do well on social, right? You have to figure out what works for you and what you personally can be consistent with, and that will be successful for you. It doesn't have to be outbound video.
I want to come back to Delilah real quick, because you did find, and I hate to keep being up to Taco Tuesday, right? But it's a great little thing you got there, right? I love it. I wish I'd taken it.
She should be paying you right now for all the freaking publicity that you're giving her right now. I'm just kidding.
So you do one take, right? And
yeah,
I don't know if people really understand how hard that is.
Hard.
I mean, we're doing this one take here, but we're having a conversation.
It's actually take two, right?
Right? I mean, it's like, oh,
good point,
right,
Joe.
This is take two. Oh, Mr. Factual Data Man. So, I mean, your videos are one take. You go, and sometimes you have somebody with you, right? And you don't know what they're gonna say or do or whatever, and you're just like, boom, you're rolling, and you're gonna slap that post up there and move on, right?
I do.
What made you think of that? I mean, why not have a crew and edit and all that other stuff?
Because I want them to see. I'm not going to use the word that we don't want to use, right? You know, because
the A word.
The A word. Because when people overthink things, and when you overthink things, they become negative. Okay. And so I want people to see the ups and the downs and the good and the bad. Just the video I posted on Tuesday, again, I let my guests know, hey, it's one take, unless something like really bad happens. And even if it does, I try my best to come from it, unless like the camera totally went out or something like that, right? But I've had people walk through the back. I've had people literally come up to us while we're taping and try to start a conversation. I'm like, hey, we're just
and you don't edit that out?
No, I won't edit that out, because it's what happens. It's life. People don't see, they want to know what you're doing. When I was with Toby 2 weeks ago, that video, the waitress literally in the middle, you could see it.
I saw it.
And she was like, what are you doing?
Video, back off.
You're like, duh, we're living 2022. Like, obviously.
And you do those Taco Tuesdays like any city that you're in. That's the other part. I mean, it doesn't have to be your hometown of Orlando, right?
No, I was in Dallas. I'm in like different cities. I'll be in Houston, FYI. You know, so like I'm in Houston, I'm in, Louisville, I'm in Nashville, I'm in all these different places. And yeah, like it's where, and I'm now. Do
you ever get nervous when you're shooting these videos? Because I don't know about you guys. Sometimes I get nervous in public when I'm shooting a video. Like, what if they? And I don't know, because maybe whatever.
Yeah, that I won't do. I give kudos to Delilah. Like, you can't believe it, because I am not good at doing videos in like with people around. Like, I do get self-conscious. Really? I will be honest. Like, I do. There's something about like even a selfie or like I don't do that. Like, it freaks me out, because I'm like, what are people going to think? And I don't know why that is. But so for me, I can do video just by myself all day long. But it's in public when I know there's people around. Delilah, like, I don't know, there's something in me that triggers like this kind of like, oh my gosh, people start looking at me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you, Raquel. I mean, I don't know if it's self-conscious. I just get nervous, like someone's going to come up and say, sir, you can't be videotaping in here. This is a taco cake.
Or like, I don't want people thinking, it's that also, I don't want people to think I'm being rude. Like, I get all in my head of like, am I being disrespectful? Like, not saying that you're being disrespectful. It's just like, that's what happens in my head.
Not in my head. As a matter of fact, if I'm at a restaurant, and listen, after I'm done, I'll have a conversation. Like, I apologize to the waitress. Hey, I was doing a live, like a video. We only do one take. I apologize. She's like, well, what were you doing? And then the owner came out. Was like, hey, can you tag me?
Nice.
Like they think it's like, and when they do, and I don't mind, because sometimes it ends up being free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, there's a guy on YouTube. I forgot his name, but my wife was watching this guy from England. He's 24 years old, and he went through Pakistan, and he had like followers on YouTube. And it was like all these amazing places he went by himself. And it was like places I would not even thought about going, right? I'm from Pakistan. So now I'm in Pakistan in February. I'm like, I want to go to that place where that guy went.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I won't pull my camera out. I don't want to pull my camera out because I don't know if someone's going to get offended or what's going to happen, or I don't want to piss somebody off. You know what I mean?
But see, that's why I respect Delilah on a whole other level with that, really. Like, as
I don't
someone
think about that. Yeah, I don't. Even I was, in Costa Rica in February, and I made them make me taco.
Do you ever really quick? I have a question for you, Delilah, on that. Like, so I feel the same about long form content. Like something like this, it's like easy, right? One take, you just do it. It's good. Yeah. There's a longer conversation. What about short form content? If you're trying to fit something into 15 seconds, do you still just do one take and it's like 15 seconds and you're done?
Absolutely. I mean, happy Taco Tuesday, everyone. You know the day of the week it is. I'm, you know, like
she's right into it. You just saw her shoulders.
Once again, Bobby, she should be charging you some.
Oh my God! I saw
you
that.
should be charging her. Yeah.
No, did you just see her Taco Tuesday pose? Holy shit!
That's so funny.
Oh my God, I felt like having a taco all of a sudden.
Yeah, but people tune in, you know. All
right. This has been great. This has been awesome. Once again, I want to thank you guys for doing take 2 of social media panel. We have a backup this time, by the way. Just
I was gonna say, are we gonna get a text group message saying, "Hey, good news and bad news"?
Maybe, I don't know. I'm not.
It didn't work. Good news, we get to do take 3.
I didn't know any other way to say it. You know, I was like, how do I tell these poor guys? When I went in there later on to like look at the highlights, seriously, I was like, what the hell's going on here? I called up John. I said, John, what's going on? And poor guy spent like 2-3 days StreamYard trying to figure out what's going on, but it was.
I don't even remember our conversation, to be honest. So
it doesn't matter. This was worth it. I mean, this was great. I'm glad we were able to get back together again. Thank you all for doing this once again. This was amazing. We got Delilah Ramos, obviously, of Taco Tuesdays. We got Raquel Boris of New American and Rock the Boat YouTube podcast. And we got my buddy Joe Wilson from Social Coach. All amazing people in their own right, and definitely amazing friends to come back and support our podcast the way they did. And I want to give a quick shout out to Jungo.com, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw this. We were rated number 7 on Jungo.com's website for the podcast.
So, Bobby, that's huge.
Congrats,
oh my God, so well deserved. Wow.
Props to Jungo.com for their nice little support of our podcast. So thank you, Jungo.com. Cool. So JP, on that high note, if you could get us out here, man, I appreciate you, brother.
We hope you enjoyed this edition of Laugh, Lend, and Eat, the podcast. You can now enjoy Fabi's article, Laugh, Lend, and Eat, featured in the Vision magazine. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where each month we are giving away some swag for a lucky listener to show off. Thank you to our sponsors for their continued support, First Option Mortgage and One Good One Recruiting. And remember, you have to be something, so be kind.